everybody. So today I'm going to be doing a book review. First of all, I've attempted to do several book reviews with the last few books that I've read and finished, but they didn't really turn out as good as I wanted, so I just scrapped them instead of posting them. But I think this book that I'm going to review today, it'll be a very good one to start reviewing books, because it's one of my favorite series and all. So I'm hoping this one will be a good review that I would like to share with everybody.
I can feel it rising temperature inside me, haven't felt it for.
The book I'll be reviewing is the final book in the Bloodlines series, Book 6, The Ruby Circle. I'm gonna do a non-spoilery and a spoilery section because there's so much I want to talk about this book, and I don't want to spoil it for those who have not read it. So just to start off, for those who don't know, it's the Bloodlines series by Richelle Mead. It's the spin-off to the Vampire Academy series, which is if you've seen my top 10 favorites videos, then you saw that the Vampire Academy series is my #1 favorite, and it's no lie that this book has become one of my favorites because it's a part of that same world, has the same characters in it, and if you've read the Vampire Academy series, then I highly recommend you read the Bloodlines series, because I was hesitant too after I finished Vampire Academy and the Bloodlines series was just starting. I was hesitant. I wasn't sure if I wanted to read it because I didn't want to leave the characters I knew and loved, Rose, Dimitri, Lessa, Christian, and we knew that I was going to be following Sydney, and she's an alchemist, and by the end of the Vampire Academy series, she's become like a friend or an ally to us, but I didn't really think I wanted to really get involved with the alchemists that much, because as we know they hate vampires. Vampires are only helping to keep this secret, to keep humans safe. So I was like, I don't really know, but what made me read Bloodlines was because of Adrian Ivashkov. He was going to be in this series, so how could I not read it because of him? And I'm so glad I did, because because I fell in love with the series, not just because Adrian is in it, but because of Sydney, Adrian, Eddie, Jill, Rose, Dimitri, and Lessa all make cameos in here, which I absolutely loved. But for those of you who have not read this series, it's, like I said, it's still in the whole vampire, Strigoi, Malloy, Dampier, human world. Just taken. It's not Rose's point of view anymore. It's going to Sydney, and it's her journey now, which is an amazing journey from book 1 to book 6. Sydney's journey and just her entire transition is just completely amazing, from who she was at the beginning of the series to who she is now. It was just truly beautiful to watch Sydney grow and change the way she did in the series, and I'm so proud of her. It just follows Sydney's adventures through this world, and our little group that we've kind of formed in this series, which I absolutely loved. I did not want the group. I absolutely loved the group with Sydney, Adrian, Eddie, Jill, and others. I think that's pretty much it I can say without spoiling anything. So if you don't want to be, so that's it for the non-spoilery section. I highly suggest that if you have not read this series, or if you even haven't read the Vampire Academy series, what are you waiting for? You're missing out on two incredibly great series, and I highly recommend you read both of them, Vampire Academy and then Bloodlines, because they're simply amazing. How can you not read these books? awesome. So if you have not read Vampire Academy, Bloodlines, or the final book, then I'd say goodbye to all of you non-spoily people, because after this I'm going to be dropping spoilers like you won't believe. So I just want to talk about this book. So if you have not read any of the series, goodbye for now, and come back when you have. Bye! Okay, now, if you've stuck around, then I'm either thinking you've read all the series, read this book, or you just don't care about being spoiled. So, first of all, I'm so sorry it has taken me so long to read this book. I have a pile of books like you wouldn't believe just waiting for me to read them, and I'm so behind, mostly because I haven't had time to read, but I'm slowly getting back into my rhythm. I'm going to be reading a lot more, and hopefully get this pile of books down to a reasonable amount, because there's so much more that I want to read. Anyway, this book, the final one. Okay, so we start kind of picking up where we left off in Civil Shadows with Adrian and Sydney. Now they've gotten married, and they're seeking sanctuary at the Moy court because we just freed Sydney from re-education, and they got married because the alchemist can't go after someone who's married to Moy. It's Moy law or something. So staying at the court for protection, under Lesla's protection, but she says they have to stay there for the protection if she can't protect them if they go outside court. So Sydney is kind of trapped inside the room. She doesn't want to go out because not only did the alchemist not approve of this, but there's some more who see it as taboo and stuff. So even when Adrian goes out, he gets beat up and stuff. Like, I would totally defend Adrian. They don't deserve this. They're just two people who fell in love. But the biggest problem, besides the alchemist after Sydney and the Moy against their marriage, Jill has been kidnapped, and we don't know by who. One of the biggest mysteries, adventures in this book is we need to find Jill. We need to bring her back because one, she's our friend. We all grown to love her, and she's just the sweetest. She deserves all the love and happiness. Plus, also she's the lost Dragomir princess and the key to Lessa keeping the throne. So if something happens to her, she dies, then Lessa is no longer queen, and Lessa is the best queen we could have. It's the race to find Jill, and we start getting these clues that the person who has her is leaving for Sydney to figure out to use her. I just want to say I just love how Sydney from the start of the series this was just a job to her. She didn't like the vampire. She didn't like anything they did or the magic they did. But now she's come into her own and she's freely using her own magic. And it's just Sydney is one of the characters that has such a beautiful arc throughout the whole entire series. You can see how she's grown and changed and accepted new things about the world and about herself. And it's just is entirely beautiful. We're going on this basically scavenger hunt to find Jill. We find these clues. Then of course we also have the spirit battle with Adrian. Well, the constant fight of should I not use spirit? How much of it could really hurt me in the long run if I use it. This is one thing that annoyed me, not just in this book but in the other ones. It's just kind of Sydney kind of policing him with him using spirit. I get she doesn't want it to affect him in the long run. She doesn't want to lose him or for it to hurt him or to lose his mind or whatever. But I think just a little bit. He could use just a little bit. It's kind of like policing. If he's like, uses a little bit of spirit, she like totally like goes off on him, like, and like lectures him like, you can't do that. But I'm like, he can use a little bit of spirit, he can control it and stuff. But I don't know, maybe that was just me. It was just, it kind of annoyed me that every single time he used spirit, she would yell at him and stuff, and they would get in a fight. But that was a little annoying, but that did not take away the magic of this book. Going along with spirit, Nina, another spirit Israel that we've known in the series, she's trying to find her sister who was recently restored from being a stray girl using magic. Spirit, I mean. But she runs away, and Nina wants to find her, and she's trying to contact her on spirit dreams, but Olive just keeps pushing her away, which is not it's not heard of. Only the spirit user can control a dream and stuff. But she enlists Adrian's help, and when they do find Olive and they make contact, Nina uses so much spirit, which is kind of awesome, but also kind of scary, because I knew something was going to happen to her. That she uses so much spirit that they're able to stop Olive from turning the dream around and escaping them. But and they find something out that's kind of shocking. That overuse of spirit sends Nina kind of unconscious at first, but then she slowly comes back, but she's not really herself. She's like basically gone crazy. She barely speaks, barely does anything. What Adrian finds out about Olive is that she's pregnant, and she's run away. So while waiting for more news on the Jill front, they take a side trip. Adrian, Sydney, and Rose and Dimitri. I just love this team. Dimitri and Sidrian. I actually love that part with the four of them all together. It was just like so perfect. They go and try to find Olive for Nina to figure out why she ran away. That she's pregnant. She probably ran away because maybe she was ashamed of what happened, or Amoy forced himself on her. They want to go find her and clear things up. I think you all know what I'm about to reveal. They find Olive at a Dampier commune, where it's mostly made up of women and children, and more men come, and well, it's frowned upon in the commune, but it still happens there. They get entertained by some of the girls. We find Olive there, and then we also find something else, which I totally forgot about this until just now, but this one thing shocked the hell out of me. My mouth dropped open when I read this. I'm like, really? Ready? Okay, big spoiler right here. Adrian and Dimitri are cousins. Seriously, I spent like half that page trying to put that into my mind. I'm like, they were rivals for Rose's heart in Vampire Academy for a little bit, and then you're gonna say turn that around and they're related. I kind of like it. Adrian and Dimitri have come to respect and know each other. They're kind of on friendly terms. How everything ended, but they've come together. They don't really have any problems with each other. They respect each other. We do find Olive there. We find out that there's something strange with her pregnancy, and first this thing was at the back of my mind whispering to me that it's this, but I was like, no, it can't be. It's not possible. It's not real. It's something else. It's definitely not what you're thinking. But as it turned out, it is. The father of her baby is Neil, the Dampier guardian that she's grown close to. I was like, really? I was actually thinking that's why she ran away. But the whole running away it was kind of confusing me because I was like, why would she run away? But like, vampires can't have kids with each other. But the fact that she was restored from a strigoi and she still has the spirit blood, it has still a spirit in her blood, kind of brought about that miracle, and they were able to conceive. Do you guys know what this means? Because see, I felt like I figured that out before anybody else did, but I just didn't want to get my hopes up. We're at the commune, and then we get attacked. A bunch of strigoi break the wards and come in and start attacking everything. Rose and Dimitri, of course, go all badass and protective, and they just go off. And start doing what they do best, and I just love that they're working together and stuff. And then of course Olive goes into labor. Perfect timing, right? And I just found it so funny that it was Sydney and Adrian with her, and Adrian didn't know what to do besides boil water and cut up sheets, and Sydney was looking on the internet like her bucket show herself. Everything turns out fine, no one's seriously hurt. Rose comes back and they need Adrian to help heal some of the injured, and Sydney goes with them. But in that time, Olive escapes. How? I don't know. She's in labor, but she still gets up. I guess she got scared. She got scared because there was an alchemist coming to help take care of the strigoi bodies, which is also dangerous for Sydney. And she winds up hiding when the alchemist comes in. But anyway, Sydney tells Adrian once again not to overuse spirit, to only do the most critical, but Adrian can't do that. He saw all the people who was wounded and injured, some more than others, and he winds up healing them all. And of course Sydney gets, I think, a little angry. But I totally thought when she went up to the loft, when she went up to the loft with Rose, I totally thought they were going to get attacked or something. Or we found out. I don't know. And then when Sydney's hiding, someone comes up and gets Rose and says they have a problem. Or Dimitri comes back, says that Olive is missing. So, and I think there was one strigoi they didn't get who ran off. Uh-oh. So we go out searching for her, and we find her. She was out in the woods. She's had the baby, but the strigoi got her, and she's dying. Adrian goes down to her, kneels down before her. He tries to heal her, but he can't. He's used up too much spirit already healing the others, and he starts to say that maybe he shouldn't have healed those who are less critical. Maybe he would have been able to save her and stuff. Adrian and Sydney are down with Olive and the baby, which they named Declan Neil Raymond. Yeah, they gave him Neil's last name. And she wants Adrian and Sydney to take Declan and keep him safe and hide him, because the reason she ran away was because of this miraculous thing that occurred between two vampires, which is not supposed to be possible, but because of the spirit her being restored, it was, and she was afraid that if people found out about it, the Moai community or the alchemists, that they would want to study Declan and experiment on him to figure out, to see how all this is possible and stuff. And she just didn't want that to happen. She wanted him to live a happy, safe life, which is what anybody would want. Adrian and Sydney promised her that they would keep him safe. They would take him to Neil, tell him the truth and stuff. I just found it was so sweet and cute to see them acting as parents, as essentially parents to this newborn baby, and for them to be keeping this huge secret about his genetics, biology, whatever. And when Adrian, they're packing up, getting ready to leave, and Dimitri comes in with a car seat, that's just funny thoughts, but I loved it all the same. And then Rose is trying to be maternal, and they're joking about it with each other, and Adrian's just over here thinking, I have this secret that could change their lives forever because vampires can't have kids, and this whole thing, and since Dimitri was restored also, this changes things for them. And I was like, Adrian, tell them, please. I'm like bouncing on that my seat. I want somebody to tell them. Adrian and Sydney agree that before anybody else, Neil should know first. He's Declan's father. He should be the one to know first. And yes, I agree with him. I was like, yes, that's right. But I want Rose and Dimitri to know. That's just So we're taking care of Declan. We wind up going back to Palm Springs, and Adrian brings his mother in to help take care of Declan so that they can focus more on Sydney. Finding Jill. I'm actually surprised I've grown to like and actually be sympathetic towards Adrian's mother, since I really didn't like her in Vampire Academy series. She was just so uptight and snotty and rude to Rose. But I think she's come around a little bit. She's accepting Adrian and Sydney's marriage and stuff, and she's actually really good at taking care of the baby. And we wind up finding the person who kidnapped Jill, the old foe Alicia, which I completely forgot about her. It feels like a million years between this book and the first book. So I was like, when we found out who had taken her, I was like, who? When did this happen? But they started mentioning the fire at the house. I was like, yeah, I vaguely remember a fire and trapping a fight in there. I remember that, kind of, yeah. We're getting ready. We're trying to find Alicia, and then Sydney gets a call to go out to Wolf's place. The self-defense instructor. Yeah, Eddie goes with her, looking for her. Then we get attacked by some magic-y thing. We go into a building, and guess who's there? Alicia, and Sydney's all by herself. And then Eddie, of course, the loyal Eddie, who just wants to protect everybody and find Jill, the love of his life. Oh my god, Eddie, how can you not love him? He immediately goes into Guardian mode and starts protecting Sydney until Alicia does this magic freeze thing and freezes him. So it's just Alicia versus Sydney being all badass and stuff. And yeah, I believe Sydney manages to get a call to Jackie to essentially bring help, bring the other witches and stuff, because we can't do this by ourselves. We wind up capturing Alicia. We freeze her into the state similar to what she did to Eddie, who we bring out of it. So we have her in a frozen state. So we're gonna leave her like that for a little bit to weaken her, so that should be more easily assess, better to deal with, so that Adrian can compel answers out of her as to where Jill is. And we managed to track her down that the Warriors of Light have her. Really, these people, again, these crazy vampire hunting people who are just so psychotic and just so driven on, we hate vampires, they're evil, we're just gonna destroy them all. Sydney and Eddie winds up going undercover with the Warriors, and Adrian stays back to save the witches and to compel more answers out of Alicia. Eddie and Sydney, we have to go through this whole initiation thing to get into the worlds of light, to be accepted, so they can find out answers. And Eddie, of course, is all badass beating up on the people, and Sydney does a good job herself. And then meanwhile, when we just get the answer, we are going to get answers from Alicia. Adrian's compelling. He's compelling all the answers out of her. She's being resistant, but he just keeps pushing and pushing. And then she tells us the place where Jill is, and it's not where Adrian and Eddie and Sydney are with the warriors. It's in a different. It's in a different compound in a whole different state. I'm like, are you serious? But Sydney is over there being completely what? But she also says there's obstacles to get around this. She doesn't say anything else, but that's all we're going to do. Seriously, they are over there risking everything, and they're not, and Joel's not even there. Are you kidding me? But as it turns out, Sydney does whole magic thing, turns invisible, and she goes snooping around, and she finds out that this laptop they have has all the secrets, all this information on it. So she decides to steal it. They make this whole big scene to steal it, and then run away, and then quickly run away because you can't stay there. They'll know it was a whole setup and stuff. Get the laptop, and we find out where Jill is. Sydney also finds out other information about other alchemists, and she actually does what she does best and uses that to her advantage. And later on in the book, after everything's dealt with. So we go to Utah. I think Utah, where the compound is, where Jill is, and we have Sydney uses the information on the laptop to call up like a I don't know the word, immunity for them. She'll trade the information she has for immunity for herself, for Adrian, and for the other detainees that were in re-education with her. The alchemist only gives her immunity for the time being until this whole matter with Jill is resolved, and then they'll talk further after that. So Sydney goes, she gives them half the information, and then they said they'll get the half after or whatever. They go to Utah, stake out the compound, the alchemist and the guardians. Adrian and Sydney are back in the headquarters, in the place they staked out for the headquarters and stuff. And oh my god, I think knew exactly what they felt. Like they both, I know Adrian really felt like he needed to be there to do something more than just wait around for them to save Jill. He really wanted to do something, and I felt for him, because I felt like I was going crazy just waiting for information. I mean, in Vampire Academy, we were right there in the action and everything. We knew everything that was going on, but Adrian and Sydney, it's not really their forte to go out and fight and stuff, even though they've both gotten really good at it, but they're not really experienced in it, so they're just supposed to wait around. And I was like, we're just sitting here. I want to know what's going on. I want to see the badassness. I want to see Rose and Dimitri fighting side by side together. Come on! Like, that's one of the things I really wished I'd seen, was Rose and Dimitri fighting side by side, because oh my god, they're my favorite couple. And I feel like I gotta sneeze, but it's not gonna happen. So, but eventually, when we get to the basement where Jill is, Eddie stops them, and he kind of realizes that it could be magic right there. So he asks for Sydney to come, and so they both, I think I'm gonna sneeze now. He asks for Sydney to come. And of course Adrian goes with her. They get down there, and Sydney says, "There's a demon guarding the door." Oh my god! And this six or some multi-headed snake person thing that can only be killed with fire. Okay. So Sydney's gonna fight that, and they decide on I found it by Rose, Eddie, and Neil arguing who's slip past and go get Jill, and they finally decide on Rose because she's smaller, she can slip by easier and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, we're gonna get some Sydney Rose fighting together. That's the two main characters from the two series walking together. Awesome. We get Jill. She's weak. She needs blood, but she's okay. Thank God, because Eddie was just gonna. I don't know, even want to know what he was gonna do if she wasn't okay. But she is. We are. We get Jill out, and Sydney wants to kill the demon because she doesn't want to leave it there to run rampant. Who would? So she keeps fighting it, and then she loses control, and almost about to kill her when Adrian steps in. Spirit's not really a battle element, but he uses the compulsion to compel it. It takes a lot, probably nearly as much as what happened when Nina did it and put her in that state. So, and it felt good to him in the moment, but then after, when he saved her and everything's destroyed, everything's gone and safe, he almost forgets who he is, who she is. But the Sidrian feel, she pulls him back, she makes him remember all the feels. So everything's safe. And I'd forgotten to say that before the whole Utah escapade, Adrian wound up telling Neil about Declan that Declan is his son with Olive and stuff, and Neil says he can never, he can't be with him, he can't see him because it would ruin what Olive was trying to do, was trying to protect him. Questions would come up. Eventually they'll figure it out. But Adrian still wants to convince him to be with Declan, to see him, to hold him. You can't run away from your son. You need each other. So they were gonna convince him of that after the whole escapade got Jill out. And then there was other Moai being held on the property, and Dimitri and Neil went to get them, and I think Neil said he was gonna do something. And Dimitri came back alone, but Neil wasn't with them. He used the opportunity to run off, and they don't know where he is. Oh, they eventually find out that from Adrian's mother that Neil did come by. He did see Declan, and he held him. He left a note for Sydney and Adrian, a very heartfelt. I cried reading that letter. That he essentially wants Sydney and Adrian to take care of Declan. If there's any other way he would want to be with him, but he just can't see it. It's not safe for him to be with him. It will destroy what I said before, for everything that Olive was trying to do, trying to protect him, give him a happy, normal life, and he just didn't see it as possible if he was in it. And he did say that if it was ever possible in the future that he could come back and he could be with Declan, he would, and he would let them find him. But that was just so sad. But I had tears in my eyes by the time I got done reading that. I believe after reading the note, Rose finally got impatient and demanded to finally know what this big secret was. And then they decided to tell him, and they say that this will affect Rose and Dimitri more. And they tell him, and then they say we got this huge information that will change everything. And that's the end of the chapter. I'm like, really? I wanted to see what the reaction was, and you just ended the chapter. I'm just supposed to guess. I'm like, okay. Next chapter, it's gonna be them reacting to it. No, it's the epilogue. Are you kidding me? I wanted to see Rose and Dimitri's reaction because I knew Dimitri was gonna be happy. About it. He was gonna be excited, but he was gonna be trying not to show it because that's Dimitri. Rose was probably gonna be funny. I just really wanted to see the immediate reaction to finding out, but we jumped to the epilogue, which is a whole year later. Sydney and Adrian are living together in this remote place in Maine with Declan. Eddie and Jill are together. They're doing the whole long distance thing, but it's totally working for them. Sydney is in school. Is in college like she always wanted. Adrian got a job. But I'm proud of him. Adrian has evolved so much too. And then, well, I think it was Christmas dinner we were all having together. Adrian, Sydney, Jill, Eddie, Rose, and Dimitri. I think that was all of us. I'm not sure if there's anybody else. We were all having dinner, and pretty much my favorite part of this book, we find out that Rose and Dimitri are engaged. I was squealing when I found that out, and through that whole little moment they had, looking at the ring and talking about it, and like how he got her to where he still can't get her to set up date, and I'm like, I'm squealing so much. I'm so happy. My favorite couple is engaged, and they're gonna get married, and they're eventually gonna be able to have kids together, and I'm so happy. But I'm also sad because this is the end of the book and the end of the series. I love this world so much. Vampire Academy, Bloodlines, I don't care. I love the whole Strigoi, Morai, Dampier. I love the characters, the couples, the story, everything. I love this series so much, and I highly recommend both of them. If you have not read them, you should. I'm not even gonna say it. You should read these series. I give this book about, what am I saying? 5 stars. 5 stars all the way. I'm being biased because it's one of my favorite series, but who cares? I thoroughly love this book. It was never dull or anything. Maybe it was a little slow going. I don't really know. I didn't pay attention to that because I love this book so much, the series, everything. I'm just gushing right now because one of my favorites. Absolute. Everything about it. Once again, Rose and Dimitri getting engaged was my favorite part. I wish I'd seen the exact moment, scene when it happened, but just gonna have to live with this. So I'll just make it up in my head of how it happened. I don't know. But good, excellent book, excellent series, both of them. So if you have not read this series, you need to get on it. You just need to. And if you have read it, comment down below what you thought about it. What were your favorite parts? What were your least favorite parts? And as always, rate, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you again in our next video. Bye.
This is my heartbeat song.